Greatness today, baby. Greatness today. All day long.
Fire up! Fire up!
Oh, yeah, put him back here.
My fault.
No, you're good. That was all perfect.
It wasn't though, bro.
Call it if you will, the dog days of camp. We call it the third push. 3 straight days in pads for the Chiefs, but on the horizon is a preseason game in Glendale, Arizona, always in our hearts, side of Super Bowl 57 championship. But that's this week's focus, and that's where we want to take you this morning from here in St. Joseph, Missouri, at Missouri Western State University. It is the third push, 3 straight days in pads. Hi, everyone. I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs, along with senior team reporter Matt McMullen. Our live streams, our camp is brought to you by the incredible people at Mosaic. They are part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. They're investing in the future of healthcare and investing in their people, technology, and services to keep local care local. They are awesome at Mosaic, the official training camp sponsor and the official healthcare provider of training camp. You could be from Tarkio, Missouri. You could be from, Hamburg, Iowa. You could be from Bendina, Kansas, or Falls City, Nebraska. The 4-state region is all Mosaic. It's a 4-state region, but it's the third push. Your thought here of 3 straight days in pads?
Yeah, it's day 12 of training camp here today. I think it's Tuesday, right?
I have no idea.
We're losing track of the day of the week, but
no
it's day
clue.
12 of training camp, day 6 overall in pads. And, Mitch, for the first time since February, it's a game week, which is exciting. I know it's just a preseason game against the Cardinals. We're not going to see a lot of the starters play much in that game, but still, you're preparing for a football game. And that's fun, and we'll talk about this, about how the players trying to make this team have been showing what they can do during camp. Well, they'll have an opportunity to go out there against another opponent for the first time all summer. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this 3 days is almost like you have to have the left brain, right brain, meaning, yeah, that game is coming up Saturday night. But this 3 days is also Andy Reid focusing on the Chargers in Sao Paulo, Brazil, or the entire 18 weeks of the regular season. This, every day matters. If you follow us, you know that. But these 3 days are as much of the big picture as it is this week.
It's not easy, but it's easier early in camp to really perform and look good. Like, oh, so-and-so looks great. But like you mentioned earlier, we're on the true dog days right now. Day 12 of training camp. Fortunately, it's not too hot today. It's going to get hot tomorrow, I think. It's like, I don't know, about 73 degrees right now. It's very pleasant, but still, day 12, that's when your body really starts hurting. And we had an off day yesterday. That's a good thing. But coming back in pads after having a day off is difficult. And you see which players elevate on days like this. Who looks good on day 12 that also looked good on day 1? Again, that's where you find out who your best players who are trying to fight for roster spots are going to be.
Excellent point, because who's better? And we'll look at what we've done in the fourth quarter over the past 7 years with Pat being the starting quarterback, the QB1. It's fourth quarter, it's November, it's December. We say it before. It's really not cliche. It's real life of the world of the NFL. These days are where you build fourth quarter 2-minute drive stamina. In fact, they're working on 4-minute drive later today. So that being said, these days are important, and yes, a preseason game is coming up. And speaking of Pat Mahomes, he becomes important because he becomes the leader on the horse out in front, along with Coach Reid, of dragging guys through this. We can go through all the stats. He's got 13 NFL records, the best playoff record of 21 games of any quarterback in NFL history, his first 21 playoff games. He's 89-23 as a starter. We can go through all that. 2 5,000-yard seasons. But what I think is overlooked is his mental and emotional leadership and his ability to weave this entire team together, the defense and the offense, because he's incredible, especially on these days when it's tough.
I love how you qualified that playoff win stat. His first 21 playoff games. Had the Chiefs played in 21 playoff games before he got here? I mean, it's unbelievable. He's 17-4 in the playoffs. 17-4. Those 17 quarterback victories are the second most all-time Only Tom Brady has more, and Patrick Mahomes is 29 years old. We could rattle off some of the great quarterbacks in NFL history, like Joe Montana, Drew Brees, on and on, Peyton Manning. None of those guys had 17 playoff wins as a starting quarterback. Patrick Mahomes already does. And, it's interesting because lots of players have great stats, and they don't have the playoff numbers to match it. I mean, Mahomes has 245 career touchdowns, 32,000 career passing yards, most for any player through 112 career games in NFL history. But he also wins, like you said, led the Chiefs to the most regular season and playoff wins of any team since 2018, 17-4 in the playoffs. And his season has never ended shy of the AFC Championship game in overtime? Are you kidding me? It's unbelievable. So it's very easy at this point, all these years in, to take this for granted. We cannot. And with all that in mind, it would also be easy for Mahomes to come out here and be like, I'm Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be great. He doesn't do that. It's all about the process every single day. He was celebrating just now a great throw during 7-on-7 here on day 12 of training camp. He loves getting better every single day, and by being around him, everyone else gets better as well.
He'll also pat a defender on the gluteus maximus if the defender makes a play.
Yeah.
That's the true magic of Patrick Mahomes that goes beyond all the stats and his physical abilities. It's his mental and emotional maturity and leadership that is far underrated throughout the analysis of the National Football League. But Pat had a chance to comment on this team right now, where it's at, and then we're going to dive into where Pat has taken his career and added to it and put another layer on his cake, so to speak. Here's QB1.
Yeah, I think it's just every year resets, and we talk about that after we win, we talk about that after we lose. And so it's starting from day one. How can you attack this day to be better than you were the day before? And that's not only on the practice field, that's in the meeting rooms, and that's how you recover and get yourself ready to go. And so we know we have one of the hardest training camps out there, but it's for a reason. And so how can you attack it every day, not have those down days, but have a lot of just building and building, and that'll prepare us for the next day, and it'll prepare us for the end of the season.
I love it.
That just gives you a glimpse of where he's at with this team. Let me tell you where Pat took his game to another level, and he's continuing to do so. I had a chance to talk with him earlier in camp, and we were just talking ball. The fact that last year the Chiefs had the best average play per drive for a touchdown drive at 6.77 plays. Now, why is that important? Because Pat told me you have to remain surgical. You've got to keep that in your repertoire, and yet he wants to open it up and hit the deep third. But how do you hit that deep third? You can hit it and just instead of running go routes or let's run wasp. Now, so what Pat has done, and this is the equivalent, and I've given this analogy before, of a big Tarek Skubal. I guess I got to give a Detroit Tiger here, but a guy that can throw upper 90s or 100, but then throw the nasty 83 mile-an-hour changeup, and you have no shot. What Pat has done is added more to his repertoire in keeping that surgical strike, and yet we know he can throw the deep pass if it works.
It's been fun to watch him grow over the years because when he first came in the NFL, it was all the deep stuff. It was the gunslinger. It was finding the guys way downfield, and that was a lot of fun. But defenses adjusted to Mahomes, and he had to become more surgical. He had to become the player that was going to hit guys for a 4-yard gain through the air, and they break a tackle. It turns into an 80-yard gain. He had to become that guy. Well, last year, a lot of the training camp talk was getting back to the deep ball as well. Didn't quite materialize because of the injuries on offense, but that's really been the mandate again this offseason and during this training camp is finding a way to open up that deep third of the field again, and particularly with Xavier Worthy. And I think we've seen that throughout this camp, that Mahomes and Worthy have worked on that timing. It looks a lot better, in my opinion. It's a difficult thing to figure out, and Worthy last year, he had to step into a bigger role because of the injuries on offense, but he's looked great so far. That timing, I think, is really syncing up. And if Mahomes and Worthy in this deep passing game can really get firing on all cylinders again this year, when you have that surgical element as well, this offense, I think, will be really difficult to stop.
Yeah, and the surgical element really and the play action sets up your deep ball. And people go, throw the ball deep, throw the ball deep. If you want to lose football games, have 40-second possessions. Go call the San Francisco 49ers from Super Bowl 54. When you have these quick possessions, and because if you're going to throw it deep, you take your shots when you take your shots, but you have to have everything side to side and up and down, or you'll lose games, because quick possessions in this league will lose football games.
Right on cue. There's a Tyquan Thornton catch deep downfield from Patrick Mahomes. He's another name to watch. If you've been watching our podcast and live streams, we've talked a lot about Tyquan Thornton. 4.28 40-yard dash speed, blazing speed. He's one of those players that's looked great early in camp, but got to keep stacking on it here as we go. But so far, so good for him today, looks like.
Reason New England drafted him. Go back and watch his Baylor tape. You're like, ooh, okay. He wears 2. There's 2 number 2s out here. He's the red jersey number 2. Let's go into the rest of this quarterback room because we know how important that is. Or we'll show you video of the 2019 Matt Moore victory over the Minnesota Vikings that kept that season alive. Or we go to the Chad Henne famous 98-yard drive against Jacksonville in a divisional playoff win in the 2022 season. Enter Gardner Minshew. Yes, that Gardner Minshew. He's very intriguing to me. The definition of a backup quarterback is he must be able to win a game in any circumstance against any opponent. And Minshew has already done that. He's got double-digit victories he's got a losing record, but he's won a lot of starts. And it goes back to, I remember the debut. He'd kind of, he's kind of the thing in college, but he'd moved from town to town up and down the dial. He'd gone from East Mississippi Junior College, went to Troy, then he goes from Troy, then he moves around a bit, then he ends up at Washington State. And so, but then he blew up at Washington State to the point where this is a talented young man. He has made plays throughout his career. His debut was against us in Jacksonville in 2019. He was 22 of 25 in that game, and I'm like, hey, when's the time going to run out? Because if this kid stays out there, we might have an issue.
How funny is that?
I know but he's talented, and I have a feeling, I have all the confidence in the world in him. He could win a game against any opponent under any circumstance.
Well, he has a lot of experience ever since that debut back in 2019. Played for the Eagles, almost led to the Colts to the playoffs a couple of years ago. Yep. He's appeared in 59 career games, thrown 68 career touchdown passes. And really, we've seen throughout his career this ability to make special plays happen. Now, turnovers have always been kind of a problem for Gardner, but also with that are these magical special plays like Minshew Mania over the years. And you want that in your backup quarterback because if you need a player to make a play in a big moment like we've seen from Chad Henne and Matt Moore over the years, I think Gardner Minshew has that ability. And the thing with him as well is you hope you don't need him during the regular season, but the preseason will be a lot of fun, I think.
Yes, it will. It'll be fun to watch him tear it up. 6 300-yard passing games, if I'm not mistaken. He's got a 378 on the board. There are some big plays in him. He's got the arm strength to go deep and run everything, but you see him change his arm angles, and you see how creative he can be. So I'm excited about Gardner Minshew being the backup quarterback for this team. The other 2 in camp, Bailey Zappi. He was here for a brief while. Then he got claimed, went to the Browns. But the fact that, and there's some tie-in here, because the GA that worked with offense at Texas Tech moved on to Houston Baptist. They were starting football. Now they're Houston Christian, the Huskies. That guy became the OC. Then he moved on to Western Kentucky. But he was dragging Bailey Zappi with him. And that young man, that coach, whose dad is the track coach at Texas Tech. So there's this triangle here with tying in Bailey Zappi to Patrick Mahomes. But Zappi had an incredible year at Western Kentucky, went off the board, and he has got more NFL experience than people realize. He has been out there in the heat.
He threw 62 touchdowns for 5,000 yards in one college season at Western Kentucky. It was like a video game. It's crazy. But yeah, for a player in his position on the depth chart, he has more experience than you normally see. I mean, he's played. He's appeared in 15 career games, made 9 starts, thrown for more than 2,000 yards and 12 touchdowns, and still very young. So, I mean, this is for Coach Reed, a fun developmental player. See what he can do here. We tried keeping him on the practice squad last year. He didn't last. Cleveland went and got him, but we'll see if he can stick around this time around.
But when he came in for those couple of days, I had a chance to talk to him and hear all these connections between he and Mahomes.
Small world.
Small world, but that's how it kind of works in the National Football League. The 4th quarterback in the room, you know him. He's been around since 2022 when we put him on the practice squad. It's Chris Oladokun, and he was great after transferring from Samford to South Dakota State to play for the Jackrabbits, one of the premier FCS programs in the Missouri Valley Conference and the nation. But Chris Oladokun has value to this team. He's already shown that value. At the very least, when he's running scout team, let's see, we play Lamar Jackson this year. When you look at, we play Josh Allen, we play all those guys again. The running quarterback, C.J. Stroud. He is a great replica of those guys in practice, but it goes beyond that too. He's athletic, can make plays, and curious what he'll do in these preseason games.
And something that isn't talked about enough in a quarterback room, it's not just going out there and playing. It's like they're coaches in there together with Patrick Mahomes. And Chad Henne was a great example of that over the years, just where Mahomes could pick his brain on things. What do you see when you look at this? And Chris Oladokun has been great in so many ways in that area as, I'm a scout team quarterback, but also because of service time, he's been able to go to rookie minicamp for 4 years in a row now. Most players can't do that. Patrick Mahomes certainly cannot. And when you have rookies come in and Chris Oladokun is running the show, everything is efficient, and also he can report back to Mahomes and say, I love this guy, or this guy likes the ball this way. So I think that's really valuable. You know, in the NFL, where the margin for error is so slim, you need every single advantage you can find. And while Chris Oladokun doesn't have big-time numbers, hasn't played a whole lot, I think him being in this room has helped us win.
The other thing he has done that's kind of sneaky is the fact that he is a bit of a confidant or a place for Patrick to go as a loyal friend, horizontal accountability friend, if you will. And I love what, Pat's family's so important to him, 3 kids now, and he and Brittany, and people ask me all the time, is he as good at, I go, and he's a better dude than you know. But when you're a high-profile quarterback, all that goes into it, and this is where I've seen it with his 15 and Mahomes group. He's got a really good group of guys. Patrick is, one of his great traits is he picks good friends. He has to go to a place where they're loyal. He can talk to them. He can kind of just let down a bit or talk ball. And Oladokun has done that.
He absolutely is that. And just seeing him walk out here with Mahomes every single day. I love the quarterbacks always walk down together. Even though you're competing with one another, you're still friends. You're still working together, trying to make this team better.
All right, let's go to our other position group that we're going to highlight today, and it's the 9 linebackers in this camp. You go down the line. I'm going to tell you I'm really, 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 really excited about it, and it's Leo Chenal. Leo Chenal every day is doing stuff. He's elevated his game. We saw it this spring. We saw it this summer. We're seeing it every day out here. And not only is a linebacker, this is where we can pigeonhole Leo. There's got to be a way they get him on the field somehow. And he is wrapped inside and outside defensive line. He could be a part of the pass rush, and yet we see him in coverage. He had one of the most athletic interceptions out here when he was 7-on-7 and dropped in deep coverage. But the linebacker core I'm excited about. Drew Tranquill having a little bit of a back issue now. But of the 9-man linebacker core, what do you see? Well,
you're right about Leo. I think he might be the most underrated player in the NFL. Is that a stretch?
No.
I mean, he doesn't get any credit nationally at all, but what a chess piece he is for Steve Spagnuolo. We knew coming out he would be a great run stopper and maybe a great sub-package pass rusher. He's shown that throughout his career. But he's gotten better and better at coverage throughout his time here in Kansas City. Pro Football Focus tracks all this stuff. They've given him a higher coverage grade in each of the last 3 seasons. And last year, among linebackers with at least 100 coverage snaps, he ranked 8th in the NFL among all linebackers in the league. Also a great special teamer. We all know that. 294 special team snaps last year, 3rd most on the team, and made the special teams play of the year against Denver. So he just helps you win in so many ways. He's just a classic football player. He's going to go out there and do whatever you tell him to do and do it really well.
The backup linebackers are something we're going to watch. We know about Jack Cochran and his value to this team, especially on special teams. Cole Christensen, one of the biggest plays of the run in 23 when he sniffs out the fake punt against Buffalo. Cam Jones has been a part of this team and a valuable part of this team. But then there's Jeffrey Bassa. And Jeffrey Bassa, to me, the rookie out of Oregon, he's another guy that I'm very excited about to see him in preseason games.
He reminds me of a young Drew Tranquill. And they have a lot of similarities because Drew Tranquill was a safety at Notre Dame but converted to linebacker in the NFL. Well, Bassa is similar. He was a safety at Oregon originally, only started playing linebacker by necessity to help the team at Oregon because they were banged up in their linebacker room. But it turned out he was pretty good at it. Now he's in the NFL playing linebacker. Ton of experience there. Started 43 games during his career. Made a lot of plays in this camp as well. One thing that stood out to me, he was a little banged up at one point. Hurt his ankle, missed a few days. But then the next day he was out there, had an interception in 7-on-7. So he's a playmaker. We're stacked at linebacker, I think. I mean, this might be the deepest we've been at linebacker in a long time.
Who haven't we mentioned? If Steve Spagnuolo was listening to us, he's kind of busy right now, but if he was busy, he would rebuke us for not bringing up Nick Bolton. Because there is nobody happier in the Chiefs' kingdom than Steve Spagnuolo that the Chiefs were able to re-sign the middle and leader of the defense.
He's just about everything, He's Patrick Mahomes for us. I've said this before. And we're pretty multiple defensively, so if you don't have that guy, it gets really challenging. I had, back when we didn't know we were getting Nick, because it was, I had to, in my mind, I was preparing. If we don't have Nick, what do we do? And it's just not the same. So, thank God he's here.
Action right behind us. They're backed up at the 1 yard line. There's always they are really close.
This is the ultimate long drive drill, right? We're starting at the 1. Yeah.
Where's Chad Henne?
Exactly. Just go 99 yards.
We'll close it out, though. But the quarterbacks and linebackers, again, we're excited about it. Deep. Minshew adds something to that room. But overall, what as we get ready now, your preseason game, people will see you on the sideline. Overall, your thoughts on getting ready for it?
Well, that Nick Bolton clip was fun, right? Because C. Spagnuolo clearly has an affection for Nick Bolton and how much he means to this team. It reminded me of something Trent McDuffie told us last year in Super Bowl 58. The corner blitz McDuffie goes on that saves that game that no one ever talks about. Nick Bolton called that play.
Wow.
Without Nick Bolton, who knows what happens in that game. But anyway, looking forward, I'm excited to see who elevates in these games. Again, we've seen a lot of players out here on the practice fields that maybe we didn't know much about them before they signed with the Chiefs or came out here to St. Joe, and they've impressed us. But it's one thing to look good in shorts, another to look good in pads, and another entirely to look good in an actual football game. I get the result doesn't matter and guys will be rotating in and out, but it's a real opportunity for these players that are trying to earn their shot into the NFL, and they can show us what they can do on Saturday.
Steering wheel pounders are something that's happened where you think about it at a stoplight, at the red light, and you pound the steering wheel. The other one is staring at the ceiling fan is what could happen. Spags spent a lot of nights looking at the ceiling fan going,
who's going to replace Nick Bolton?
Are we going to find Nick? Well, sleep well, Spags, because Nick Bolton is out here. So is Matt McMullen, and so is Mosaic. They're awesome. They are official sponsor of training camp here in St. Joseph. They are also the official healthcare provider. And again, this is huge. They're a member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, and investing in the future of healthcare and investing in the people, technology, and services. But they keep local in the 4-state area. Thank you, Mosaic. Thank you, Mac McMullen. Let's get ready to play some preseason football after 2 more days of the third push.